Cash-a-maniacs.
Geo Gearheads.
Darryl,
Chris.
the end is near.
Yes, it is. It is the archive party.
I can't believe it. Archive party of all things. How did you name it that?
Yeah, I actually did pick that name, didn't I?
You did.
It was just too appropriate. How could we not call the last show the archive party?
Yes.
Especially because we're bringing in a bunch of our patrons to help us out with the party.
Exactly, because we can't do it on our own. You know, we didn't
It's
get
not
here
a
on our
party
own.
with just the two of us.
Yeah. Please never refer to that again. You're right. No. Merlin
Wow.
1392 says it's better a party than a funeral.
Yeah. Oh, what was it? What's the party that they do for the deceased in New Orleans?
Like a dirge?
No. There's a name for it, and I'm sure someone that we'll bring in tonight is going to have that answer for us. But it is episode 526, the final episode of the Geo Gearheads. So with that, why don't we start with introducing GSM times 2. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Glad to be
Yes.
back. Sorry it's the last show.
Yes.
We told you you'd be back.
Yes, you did.
You know that we make so many jokes about things ending the show, and you know now it's actually happening. But next up, we're going to bring in On a Boat.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Good to have you back as well. Another frequent guest and patron.
Mm-hmm.
And our last guest for this final episode is Limax. Welcome back.
Greetings. And Darryl, it's Mardi Gras.
No.
No, when they have a funeral, they march through the streets and there's kind of a party, a fete. I don't know.
Well, I was thinking party in New Orleans. Why not Mardi Gras?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, shoot. I can't remember. There's a
I
name
am
for it.
in front of an internet enabled computer.
Yes, but I'm not going to go looking that up while we're on the show. That never goes well for us. That's why we have the research department.
The internet says New Orleans jazz funeral. Don't know what that means.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I came up with. It's got to have a better name than that.
There's got to be a better name than that.
Yeah, that's what Merlin 1392 came up with too, is the jazz funeral. But there is another
Jazz
name
funeral,
for it.
yeah. They preferred the term funeral with music.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah, no, there was a name for it, and I can't remember what it's called.
Well, maybe the research department we can all just come up with a name in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're very French. You know, you could do like the Fête de la Mort. The death party. I don't know.
I like that right off the top.
Well, the whole point is supposed to be celebrating the life that was lived.
So like a wake or something like that. But wake's Irish, but
right. Well, and the wake is, still kind of sad, but
Merlin's right on top of it. A typical jazz funeral begins at a church or a funeral home and leads the way to the cemetery. Mourners are joined by a brass band that plays music that
I
need one of those.
That does something. Yes.
I do have a trombone back here. I could use that.
Oh.
See, Michelle says it's Marty Geogra.
I like that one.
I like that.
Yep.
That's a good one. Night of the Living Dead Geo Party. Geo
Party, yeah. Good one, Houston, Texas, Dave.
Oh, man. All right. On geocaching note, though, we just got done with 2/22/22 or 22/22, depending on where you are in the world.
Hold on, Darryl. Scott, it was just under 5 minutes. It was like 4 minutes and 55 seconds.
Okay, good.
He wanted to know how long it was going to take us to get to a geocaching topic. So anyway, Darryl, now you can go ahead.
Okay.
But
So-
1 second, we need to figure out how long are we going to stay on a geocaching topic.
About
Are we
4
going to
minutes and
extend
55
our streak,
seconds.
or-
No. It's not going to be that long. I'll bet 2.5 most. But I don't know about you guys. I didn't have any events near me. Did anyone
What?
have a chance to go to an event? Well, the closest event was like 30-ish miles, I think.
Maybe 22 miles away, and you didn't go?
No, not even that. And of course, I didn't get out of work until later than I wanted to. So that was
That's no
challenging.
excuse, Darryl. Okay, so GSM times 2, you said you had a couple? You went to 2?
Went to 2, got 22 geocaches, and
Of course you did.
and 22 people showed up at the last party.
No
Nice.
Way.
That
I
it
knew
doesn't get
somebody
much
was going to
better
get
than that.
22 geocaches. I didn't have time for that.
way. I got 2.
I got 2
What?
also, and they both had the word 2 in them.
That's too much.
Yeah.
Too
Now,
much, too soon.
yeah. Piffle Bear, on the other hand, had to be at work early that day, and she was teaching all day about 2/22/22 and actually had activities for the kids. But we had a
Nice.
thunderstorm move in that night, and thankfully it didn't last very long, so she was actually able to go out and get a couple of LPCs.
Did you get to an event, Limax?
I did not. There was one, I think, in Mountain View. I saw photos on geocaching in the Bay Area. It looked like the Panera Bread that's in Mountain View that I've done frequent ones at.
What about you on a boat?
No, I worked too late.
Oh.
There was I was kind of in the same situation as Darryl. We had an event across town. It's the only one that I was aware of in the area, and it sounded like there was a good turnout. There were like 40, 50 people that showed up to it on the other side of town. It's probably about a half hour away from me. I just got out of work so late, and it was already happening by the time I left work. I didn't feel like driving across town.
Darryl?
Yes, I saw that one.
Ray Kicks had one in Lavinia.
Yeah, the Ray Lavinia. Actually,
Livonia.
it's supposed to be
Livonia,
Livonia. But yeah, that one was the one that was like 28 miles, I think, is what geocaching.com was saying. I didn't
So?
realize where it was, but if it's Livonia, it wouldn't have been that bad to get to it.
Let's see. Houston, Texas Dave says there were 6 events in our area.
Wow.
Look at C. Michelle said I traveled 32 hours to get to my local event.
He must have walked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think they got the snowstorms, but maybe.
The pizza / pickle ninja said we had an awesome event at the Carousel Museum. It was so much fun. It just went around and around and around. Bryline got 2 events on Tuesday. Wet Coaster says my wife and I got 2 caches at lunch on Tuesday. Oh, here we go. Bob says I hosted a Taco Tuesday event. I have to expand on the 2 because it's TWO.
Yes, and see, that's what I was waiting for, and no one seems to have done one that I could find in this area.
Oh,
I know
I
a
was
friend of mine
disappointed.
went out and got tacos, but I think it was like 3 tacos that he had because he was he had overkill.
Not 22 tacos.
Oh, maybe 22 bites of the tacos.
Yeah, I was gonna say you need the little tiny tacos.
Yeah, those
Then you can do 22.
Those are no good.
Are those the taquitos?
No, they make little tiny taco, like hors d'oeuvre sized tacos.
Not gummy tacos then.
No, I've had
Ooh,
those.
yeah.
Those are really disgusting. But Seamus
See Michelle's
said
back in
he's in
Australia.
Australia. Yeah. So-
That would explain
It's
the
32 hours.
The
yeah.
32 hours. So
Yes.
there were several cashers in my area that took the day off so they could hit events. I thought about it and I was like, no, I need to be a good boy and work. So there was the day started off with an event from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. I didn't go to that one because I was a good boy and I slept like all real people should. There were several events up in Seattle, obviously around HQ. And then the day ended with an event that we were supposed to stay until 2200 hours. But when we got there, it was cold. And we looked at our phones and, we said, it must be 22 degrees. And they, no, 27 degrees. Oh, wait a minute. With wind chill, feels like 22. There we go. We got it. I just looked. There were 20 people. There were 20 attended logs.
Attended, yeah.
Now, I know there were a couple of couples, so maybe we got to 22.
Just say you did. Who's going to check?
So yeah, there. I know of a couple of the people there. I think they hit 6 events that day.
That's not 2.
It's not 6 day.
Oh, yeah, they did it wrong, didn't they?
But I think Limax knows that 6 is divided by 2 3 times, so it's 3 2s.
I do know that, and of course, 6 is a perfect number.
And
Why
what
is
makes it
that?
perfect? Why it makes it perfect?
What makes it perfect? The factors of 6 also add up to 6. So the factors of 6, not including 6, are 1, 2, and 3. You add them up, you also get 6.
Oh,
So it's a perfect number. Next one after that's 28. And then I can't remember what the next one after that. It's quite a bit higher at that point.
we probably should stop or maybe start talking about batteries before we lose the audience.
There are
Phone batteries don't like 22 degrees outside. I'll tell you that.
No, they don't. Wrapping up the 22 thing, how many people missed getting that second cache and expected to get the souvenir?
A lot.
I bet a lot. Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
a lot did, yeah.
I haven't heard the grumblings because I've been so heads down lately, but I just knew that was going to happen. I just haven't heard anything.
I saw some stuff on some of the Facebook groups, different places, people asking, anybody having trouble with the souvenir? Anybody having trouble getting it? I found my
I only
cache.
found the one. Well,
Yeah.
And I'm not sure.
Reading's
I don't
hard.
recall. Was it? Yeah, it is. But I think it had to be a found it log, not a attended log.
No, it could be.
No.
It could be attended.
It could be an
Yeah.
attended. Okay.
I think any log counted.
Okay. I thought when we were looking at the announcement, we had some questions about which ones were actually going to qualify too. So
Yeah.
I
that
told
would
you,
have added
reading's
a
hard.
lot more confusion.
Literacy is one of my biggest skills. I use that quite often.
And you're talking about the CETO type of literacy?
No.
Where you go and literacy the
Oh,
great
yeah.
outdoors?
Where I drop garbage out. I'm
You
literacy.
literacied?
Well, I understand there was a lot of
Daryl, leave the puns to me.
complaining when people didn't get a souvenir on 2/22 because
Right.
once again they had not read. And comprehended.
Sure.
Reading's
Yeah, that
hard,
makes
man. I'm serious.
Especially numbers. I mean, my God,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, you put numbers in with
put
letters.
numbers, yeah,
Oh,
numbers
God.
and letters.
That's
Just
game
it
over.
Confuses people.
Game over.
English is hard.
Unless
too.
you're Limax. Limax is good with numbers.
Yeah. I think he prefers numbers over letters.
I do
Unless-
prefer numbers over letters, yes.
Unless it's X. X equals something.
My ex is long gone.
Oh, okay. Hey, the jokes were my job on this podcast. You know what? Take it away. I don't care anymore. Let's see. Hey, geocaching vlogger. It said it could even be an adventure lab. Is that one location of an adventure lab?
Yeah, because it's a log on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe you log the same adventure spot twice. I don't know.
Well, and Paula said the attended logs and one stage of an adventure lab counted as one log.
There you go.
So you had to get both to get one log? No.
No, any one of those counts as one log, but you had to get 2 logs. So
Yeah,
2 stages of an adventure, you're there. If you hit an event and a cache, you're there.
Got it.
Pizza Ninja says reading is hard. Sounds like a good puzzle cache.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's one out here in the Bay Area called that. I'm sure we've got one out here called Math is Hard.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking I saw that one when I was looking for caches on one of my early trips to the headquarters. Not geocaching
Yeah,
work
I know what you
headquarters.
meant.
Yeah.
Good, because you were in the wrong spot for the wrong headquarters. You might have been in the right spot for the right headquarters.
I was in the right spot for my headquarters, but my first trip out, I'm sure I talked about this before, I was like way on the other side. So, I ended up deciding to walk in because, hey, I've got a couple of hours to waste. I'll just walk into work and ended up getting lost thanks to the wonderful refractions of the city. But it was cool to get a chance to learn a little bit more about San Francisco that way.
It is one way to learn. Yeah. Yeah,
Did
we're
you get lost, or were you chasing caches?
No, I was legitimately lost. I was, I had Google Maps walking directions on in my pocket, listening to the podcast, just kind of walking and taking in the scenery. And it's very bizarre for me to just be walking around and there's like massage parlors on one side of the street and the Indonesian consul on the other side of the street. And, it's like, am I in a bad part of town? I don't think so. Cause, just bizarre community to be walking through like that.
You got
So
to
it's
go
very
see
cool.
the good parts of town.
Well, yeah. And I was stationed down at Ghirardelli Square for my first trip, which was really cool, except the only time I get to go out is pre-sunlight hours, because then,
Mhm.
I have to work on East Coast time as well as working on Pacific time. So, I work from before the sun came up to after the sun went down.
So in other words, you didn't get down to the ice cream parlor on the first floor of Ghirardelli.
Well, I got there. They weren't open, but I got there. And I was able to see them turn the first of the streetcars in the morning. Or cable cars.
Yeah.
So to give this show some function or direction,
Scott, no.
What
Okay, go ahead.
how did you guys start? How did you met at Geo Woodstock? What year?
No, actually, we
What
didn't
decided?
even
What
meet.
made you decide to do this podcast?
Well, we didn't even meet at Geo Woodstock.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at Shaved Ewok's comment. Picked a weird time to come into this show.
Picked a weird name too, by the way.
Hey, I just got a text message from him. He wanted to know when you guys are starting to do all the giveaways. He said he was promised free stuff.
Okay. So let's start with On a Boat's headset.
It's got a dragon.
Yeah. Red dragon. Well, silver on that one, but yeah.
So, okay. Back to GSM.
I don't know how we met, Darryl.
We met through Twitter, actually.
Yeah.
I was doing Cache-Maniacs and with Andy Lehman, Xpunk X, the geocaching podcast. And we were looking to expand into doing some cool little segments in the show, kind of put together a real, morning, not really morning, but, a morning talk show kind of format.
A radio show more.
Yeah, where we were going to have
segments.
regular segments. We were going to do once a month or whatever, the GSAC corner with a GSAC tip and that kind of stuff. And so Chris was doing the geocaching question of the day at the time. And we asked him if he wanted to do a recording of one of the questions every week to put on the show. So that's actually how we met.
And I had to read, and that was hard.
Yeah.
We'd established that.
I thought you said that literacy was your biggest strength.
It's a skill. I didn't say I was good at it.
He was talking about the strength of the wall in his way.
Yeah, exactly. Whitebuster wants to know how many beta episodes were there on this podcast.
52. The first year was entirely beta.
Yeah, because we didn't trust that Google Hangouts on Air would work or stay around. Because
it didn't. we didn't have Google Hangouts on Air when we first started. We only had the Google Hangouts with the promise that Hangouts on Air was going to come. So the first, I want to say 10 or 12 episodes weren't even on YouTube because we
Right.
didn't have the Hangouts on Air. It was just recorded locally. And then we went and started doing the whole thing. And it kept growing and growing until then Hangouts went away. And we ended up on StreamYard.
StreamYard. This is so much better. I mean, this is without Google Hangouts on Air, I don't think StreamYard would have been invented. Well, without Hangouts on Air going away. So this is a fantastic platform. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, this is much better than Hangouts was by far.
Now,
Though there are things I miss about Hangouts, especially the full screen live switching based on who's talking.
yeah, I can see that sometimes.
Yeah.
The Aussie geocacher, who's actually back in Australia, wants to know, is it true the show's been going for 10 years and 1 month? That's 226 shows at one per week.
No, it's 10 years and 2 months. We started January 1st, but we did miss, I think it's 3 of the weekly shows. Might have been 4, but I think it was 3 of the weekly shows. So that's how we're off.
Oh, we're off. There's no
Yeah,
question.
we're off in many ways, but as far as the show count, that's how we're off.
And
Okay,
what made you miss those 3 shows?
We took one of them off for Christmas, I think it was.
Christmas or Thanksgiving.
We
Those-
took Thanksgiving off this past year.
Yeah. I think we still did Christmas, but we took off Thanksgiving. I had one where there was no way I was going to be able to get on because I had no power or anything, so we canceled that show. And we had one that I think Chris was traveling, and then I ended up getting tied up at work and couldn't make it back in time.
So, I mean, you think about it, over 10 years, we've had a pretty good run. With just 2 of us, there's a chance, that it's going to happen. And well, if you're looking at 4 times out of 10 years, that's pretty decent.
Very good. Excellent attendance record.
Oh, thank you. We don't get the perfect attendance record, so we don't get that badge. And, the principal comes and pats us on the head and said, you're a good boy.
You made
Well, we
it from
actually
second grade
had-
to high school senior and only
there
missed
you
4
go.
days. That's not too bad.
We did actually have one time, I think it was, that we recorded the show on the wrong day to allow it issues with the actual time.
To combat a scheduling.
I
Yeah.
don't remember if it was a scheduling conflict. I remember a power outage. Again,
I actually
have
recall
a lot of power outages here.
I think I actually recall that show. You moved it because the guest you were going to have on was in a different enough time zone that you had to record it at a different time of day and then do a pre-recorded show.
Oh,
That
I forgot about
We've
that.
done
That
that
was
several
another
times.
one.
Yeah. And
Especially that
was
first
soon
year
after
we
I
did a
started
bunch.
listening, however many years ago that was.
Yeah, no, we did at least 2 that first year. One of them we had to actually record twice, and I'm not sure that we actually aired it because he was not a native English speaker,
Uh-huh.
and he was not comfortable with the way it sounded.
Didn't we have to record a show twice because we didn't record it the first time, or it didn't work, or something broke, and we had to go do the show again?
No, we had one show that we started the show live to Hangouts on Air, and Hangouts went down during the first 10 or 15 minutes of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think I may have actually been in Hangouts during that time when that happened.
Yeah, I think you were, but I want to say that was Jay and Scott Burks.
Oh, they were probably on. Yeah, I mean that's before you.
Yeah, they were
allowed me to
the
be a
guests, I
guest.
think, doing the
Obviously, if those 2 were on, it was
GPS versus
smartphone versus smartphone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you had to record that one. That one had to be recorded in 2 segments.
That was it. Yeah. Oh, Kitty Catch says, I want to say thanks for all the shows. It's always a bit tricky to watch live as work hours for me here in Australia. Your shows have been fabulous, and I learned so much. Hope to see you August in Seattle. You better believe it.
We all hope for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
That is going to be the biggest reunion of all time. Probably not in reality, but it certainly will feel like it.
Shave
Yeah.
Dewok says we have better attendance than his coworkers.
Ooh, burn.
So, do you have a show that's just completely memorable to you? I'm thinking of some of the other shows. Cashing in the Northwest, you guys have the Archive show, Geo Podcasts. They have the Underwater water polo show. What about you guys?
Underwater hockey.
Underwater hockey. Thanks. Yeah, underwater.
I know what mine's going to be. Chris, what's yours? Mine's not geocaching, actually.
Oh. Go, Darryl. I have to think.
Okay. Mine was we did the special for, I believe it was the 2-year anniversary of Wallaby. And that ended up being like a 3.5 hour show. It was insanely long and recorded on a Saturday so that everyone everywhere in the world could join. And that was an insanely popular live show.
Wallaby. Wow.
Yeah, and Wallaby promoted the heck out of that show.
Yeah, they did. We
They
were
had
basically
all
there.
of the team on the show with us, so asking questions, and it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
The shows I remember most are the ones much like this one where we spent time with our patrons. The special patron episodes we were doing during the lockdown. Those were a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, I really have to say the shows that didn't hit the feed that were, our patron shows were probably some of the most entertainment that we've had. Those are the ones where I felt the best connection for sure. Geocaching Clogger says that his most memorable shows were the ones he was on and where he was completely lost as to what we were talking about, which he says was every time.
That's kind of how I feel.
I could start doing satellite mechanics here. I mean,
Can you?
We could take it.
You guys, have rabbit holes all over your studios, and you are constantly flying by them. It is a little bit difficult to be a guest on your show trying to talk about a specific topic. Just
it can
kind
be
of saying that.
can be.
It can
I
be.
always
That's
tell
why
the
I like
guests.
coming here.
Yeah.
I always tell the guests, be yourself. If we're talking, if you are talking and a thought jumps into your head, go with it. We'll keep up. And that makes the show a lot more interesting than just, reading from the sheet. This is what I'm supposed to say right now.
Well, and we really tried to not necessarily script, but, do the outline, do the talking points on the shows for the first year.
Right.
That didn't work. It worked. We had a lot of dense information, but people valued the information, but didn't really like the show.
Mm-hmm.
So being more spontaneous reduces the informative density of the show, but it makes it a lot more memorable, and people really pick up on the information better. Because when we did those battery episodes, no one remembers the first couple of battery episodes.
I don't remember the first couple of battery episodes. I was there.
I know. Well, those were our.
I still don't know
shows
what
'cause
type
they
of
were our
batteries
first
to use,
ones.
Darryl.
Well, talking about those original battery episodes, we did 2 episodes back to back on the batteries. But part of it was at the time, we're coming away from everyone's using AA batteries, almost all, alkalines, usually the cheap ones from the store because you went through so many of them. Whatever's the, store brand, just get that. That's good enough. Yeah, and everyone's doing that. And now we're moving to smartphones, which really hadn't happened when we started the show.
Right.
It was still in the process. And we talked a lot about doing paperless caching in those early days. Still,
Man, can you believe that? We're old.
paperless caching.
Daryl, let me tell you, back in the old days when we had to use paper.
Well, who even knows what that means anymore?
Get off my porch,
You know,
kids.
most of the geocachers now don't have a clue what we're talking about. What do you mean paper?
Right.
You always have to sign the paper. But in any case,
and Garmin coming out and saying, "Oh, this is going to be paperless. This, new E-Trex is paperless." And I mean, I remember
we covered a lot of that stuff on the show and how well it worked and what didn't work so well.
I had a 3-ring binder in my car with printed cache pages on it.
Yeah. Well, and I had a HP inkjet mobile battery operated printer we'd take on the road trips.
I was paperless
from
the beginning.
Print them at the store or at the hotel. You couldn't you couldn't get internet when you were on the road.
What kind of batteries did you use for that printer?
Oh, those were lithium ions. They're laptop batteries. But in any case, the battery tech was changing so significantly at the time. You're starting to get into the USB for charging. It was a thing, but people didn't really have the battery charger kind of stuff that we did. And everyone was talking about fuel cell. Everyone was geeked about the fuel cell being the next thing, and laptops were going to have built-in fuel cells.
And look what's happened. Man, I'm so glad we talked about that.
There were 2 different fuel cell systems that we talked about on that show. So you could actually go to REI, spend $300 and get the fuel cell charger with 2 cartridges. And then you had to go buy more. No, that one you didn't ignite. I think it was self-igniting.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow.
So what are all the positives and negatives about fuel cells?
This just spiraled right into like batteries 12. Like, what is this, a 12 batteries episode?
Awesome Geocacher says the show is now going full circle talking about batteries again.
That's how you're supposed to end a show, is the way you pick it up. So if you go back and listen to them all again, right where we're starting off from. It's just
the more you know.
And of course, I had to deal with thermal batteries at one point at work myself, for one of the things I was on. Well, those are definitely only one use.
Yeah. The nice thing about the fuel cells is it's pretty much virtually endless power. As long as you can keep adding the fuel, it will keep running.
But weren't these single use? I mean, once you ignited it went until it burned out, and then you had to refill it.
Yeah, there were the 2 different versions. One was a one-time use. Yeah. It had the fuel cell. The other one, you refilled it with water. You had the hydrogen generator or something like that, where it separated the water and filled the cells.
And by fusion,
I just love that Darryl still remembers all this stuff and remembers all of this. Like, hey, remember when fuel cells were cool? Do you remember fuel cells, bro? They were cool, bro.
He does have a memory. I've always impressed with Darryl's ability to retain what otherwise would be useless information, but for him, he has it.
But I can't remember the useful information.
This is important information.
This is what Scott Burks calls Darrylpedia.
Perfect.
Houston, Texas, Dave.
Oh no! I lost it. I had to go to Wet Coaster and says, "Please, mommy, make the man stop talking about fuel cell batteries."
Houston, Texas, Dave says we have 10 years of repeat Geo Gearhead shows to watch now. Probably not quite 10 years because those first few shows never made it to YouTube.
Merlin says, "I'll take batteries for 400, please, Alex."
I feel like you know what, Darryl. I feel like you should send Scott Burks a message and tell him to add some batteries questions to his yearly
Yeah.
trivia game thing he does. Whatever he calls it, the trivia game. You tell him
Yeah,
how
I
the
can't
batteries
remember the name
category.
of it.
Stump the caller. That's what he called it.
Stump the caller.
Yeah,
And make sure you give them the answers, please.
yeah. We don't need regional.
I'm not going to
variants.
give him the answers. He's got to figure those out.
See, Michelle says, for the last show, I want Darryl to show us all of his cameras he has displayed behind him.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time left on this show.
Who says we have to stop?
Hey, you know what you guys were talking earlier about how like the flow of the show goes and stuff like that. I remember the very first time that you guys asked me to come on the show for I don't remember what it was now, but
Batteries.
it's probably batteries. I might have told you no if you'd asked me to come on for a battery show, but no, I can't. I remember like stressing out like the day before because I hadn't really like put anything into the show notes to talk about or whatever, and I hadn't really done a lot of these shows, so I was like, oh my god, I gotta fill up the info. I gotta know what I'm talking about, and then we talked about like one thing that I put in there. Like I had this whole thing. It was like pages. I think we talked about like one paragraph, and then the next time I came on, I might have like put my name somewhere in there or something. And then I'm pretty sure like every other time, like I don't even remember if I opened it for the show.
You put the links in it like as you're getting into the show, waiting on the
that happened one time.
chat to open.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm trying to remember the first time I was on. If I was talking about satellites or GPSs.
Batteries.
I want to say it was GPSs actually.
Okay.
Oh, okay, Darryl, I'm going to put you on the
does
spot.
involve the batteries.
Yes.
Batteries for GPSs.
Yeah, for the satellites.
Satellite batteries.
Satellite batteries. Those are buggers to recharge, let me tell you.
Oh yeah. They take forever to change too.
Okay, Darryl, I'm going to put you on the spot.
What's new?
On this show, I think we have the two most prepared guests we've ever had, right? Between GSM times 2 and Limax. Who do you think puts more information into the show notes for each show?
I'm gonna go with R. Reagan.
Oh, yeah.
He has been, I think, our most prepared by far. He really does put a lot in there. But I would say GSM times 2 of the two is the most prepared.
Or fills up the most
I only
pages.
sabotaged my own show once.
Just once?
We do it on a weekly basis. Oh, Houston, Texas, Dave, and C. Michelle both vote for GSM times 2.
Okay, but you got to go up to Craig's comment about wedding dates.
Oh, okay.
So C. Michelle says, ask Darryl his wedding date. Unless it was on the same day as a new battery being released, he wouldn't know.
Well, the question is which wedding date, because I have two.
Do you remember
both of
either of them?
Yeah, do you remember either of them?
I'm going to get it wrong now because I'm on the spot.
Well, make sure you get the first one wrong. Don't get the
October
second one wrong.
25th was our religious wedding. The 26th was our dating anniversary, and then the 27th was our actual legal wedding at the Detroit Zoo with the otters. Hence why Renee is now so into otters.
Yeah, that marriage otter last.
The worst
Come
part
on,
is
it was
they weren't
right
even playing.
there.
They
Now,
were
wait,
sleeping.
Wait a second, Darryl. You have to explain these getting married with the otters on this last show.
Did the otter officiate?
No, it was just at the otter house, so the otters were the backdrop.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
And
live
what- and-
streaming it.
And who's
My nephew live streamed it, so
It
anyone
was
who
a
wanted
very
to watch
nice venue.
could
I
do it
watched the
at
stream.
Periscope.
and whose idea was that?
I'm not sure whose it was. We were talking about the zoo being
Darryl,
a cool
you know.
venue. Well, it was my suggestion to do the otter house. They had just finished the remodel,
Mhm.
and we're like, this would actually make a pretty decent venue for it. but I don't remember how we got there. I think Renee was the one who actually called and checked on it. But we actually moved the date forward a year because it was available. They were willing to do it, and none of her relatives were very anxious to come in October the following year. So let's just do it now.
So
that way
is
we
now,
don't have the stress for a full year.
because of Darryl's generous donation, is now the Wattenberg Otter House.
No. UDAC says a zoo is a unique and probably affordable venue. It was less expensive than you think as long as you don't do the reception there. Because if you do the reception, then you usually have to deal with the contracts that they have and only their
catering
and yeah.
They have to have otter-friendly food just in case you drop it.
Well, that probably is a big thing. Imagine what would happen with a typical wedding with all of the tablecloths and stuff if they started blowing around.
And they serve it like this.
But that's only if it's buffet style.
Oh, okay.
No plates. You have to eat it off your stomach.
Oh, so sea otters. Okay.
Yeah, we saw otters there.
Oh.
Darryl, I have a follow-up question.
Uh-oh.
Earlier, like 10
it's not in
minutes
the
ago-
show notes. Hold on, you can't go there.
Hold on. This has been bugging me. Hold on. Like 10 minutes ago, or whenever you said that Lavinia was too far away earlier this week.
That's like half an hour ago.
Is Lavinia too far away for Saturday for you?
This Saturday, yes, because we've
Come
got
on, man.
way too much to do.
God dang it.
Why were you planning on coming
I'm
up?
going to be in Lavinia on Saturday.
Shoot me the details. I'll see if I can make it.
Tell your research department guy to send it to you. He's the one. He's making stuff. He's making money moves over there. Where's Merlin at? Merlin, where are you at? You got GC numbers. Where you at?
Sunday, I'm hopping the train to Chicago for another work trip. So I got to get ready. And then I'm going to Mexico after that. And I'm told that I might have to go to the Winter Social. Oh, I totally forgot about that one.
It's in Lavinia.
How did I miss that? I knew that, but how did I miss that?
I'm going to keep saying Lavinia, by the way, just until somebody corrects me. So
I'm not. I'll take it up on myself to not correct that. I like that better.
I see a correction, but I'm not going to say it.
Oh, Limax, you're a wise man. Or a wise guy. I can't remember which one.
Well, we're already at 43 minutes.
I am still attached, so
we're already at 43 minutes, and we haven't hit either of the emails that came in for us. So off, I would like to thank you for all of the work you put into the podcast and all that I've learned from your shows. I started listening when you first started, and my main concern was getting coordinates into my GPS. Your episodes have advanced as the technology has, and I recommended the shows to other geocachers. Good luck in all of your future endeavors. And that comes from Randy of JR and Juju. Now, the next one from Dune Buddy, I'm going to let you read and share the show and tell portion as well.
Okay, Dune Buddy writes, I'm so sorry that Geo Gearheads is coming to an end today. I started listening from show 1 where I thought I had learned everything I needed to know about
battery
packs. I was wrong, since there were several shows that followed and dealt with the same topic. Did he know what we were going to talk about?
You know, I'm catching a theme that everyone wants us to do more shows on batteries.
You know, I think we can keep going for another couple of months on just batteries. In any case, your topics have always been interesting and a discussion lively in the show, and the show will be missed. Darryl, why we all miss listening to you on the podcast, at least that other guy can still be heard on that other show. Apparently it cannot be named, is all I'm saying.
Apparently.
Let's see here. Hang on. I can't do this. There it goes. Okay. There we go. Now, Dune Buddy goes on to say, 8 years ago, you and Scott had a discussion about your naturally curly hair and how it would never be seen since you kept your haircut short. It was nothing but a challenge, so I set out about seeing if I could find photos of the young Darryl. Here we go. We have some of them. The results of the search are attached. I shared them with Scott, but I don't know if he did anything with them. I've attached them for your enjoyment. Rest assured, I have not or ever would share them with anyone else, but I'm going to right now, just so you know. Dune Buddy, it's okay. It's a bit creepy realizing how much info can be found with a little, how much info about people can be found with a little info about them. Darryl and Chris, enjoy life after Geo Gearheads. I'm going to miss the show. I look forward to it every week. I'm sure you will not be idle, and I look forward to what's next. Your next endeavor will be. Thanks for the memories. Okay, now I've got to go over and figure out where this is here.
Anyone who's listening to the audio podcast is going to miss this, but these are some pretty epic.
Darryl, you look incredibly bored in this picture.
It's high school.
That looks like Napoleon Dynamite.
That's fantastic.
Pretty much. And the giant glasses.
The Coke bottom glasses.
Yeah, the Coke bottle giant glasses.
Yep. I think I had a pair about that same time. Do you know anybody else in this picture? Have you kept up with anybody else?
Oh, I don't keep up with any of them actually, but I do recognize a couple of the faces. I couldn't tell you who they are.
Sophomore.
I'm supposedly deep in thought.
Darryl, you had the latest watch. What battery was in that one? The C. Michelle.
I actually don't have the latest watch. I'm one generation back, but it's a lithium polymer battery. Thank you for asking.
No, in this picture. Right here. You've got a watch on right here.
Oh. Man, I think that was just a cheap Casio or something. Can't remember. And at the time, the solar watches were a big thing. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Might have been a solar watch, but we weren't allowed to have the calculator watches.
No.
Oh.
What was I? 7th or 8th grade when the red LED watches came out, where you had to push the button and it would show the time for like 1 second and then turn off before it killed the battery.
I think it was earlier than that because I had one when I was in elementary school.
So did I. So yes, 75 or 76, I want to say.
Yeah, and they were not cheap and they didn't last very long.
No.
They remind me a lot of the original Apple Watch.
Back in my day, we had something.
Sundials were big in my day.
You had to check your Nokia phone?
Yeah, but I don't even remember what we did. We had like Pokemon watches and
Tetris
crap like that. Yeah, it's like all like video game crap.
I remember those video game watches from the 80s.
Yes.
They were so awful, but everyone had to have one.
You had to have one. Yeah.
But they were terrible.
But I didn't have one.
And remember Epic Man, the Pac-Man clone?
Oh yes. I know my calculator watch had a little game on it also that you had to shoot the numbers with it.
Wow.
You guys are making me feel so old because in the 80s, I was actually had an adult watch that didn't have any games on it or anything like that.
My watch tells time.
That's not what I was thinking when you said adult watch. But, we got
every hour
the family friendly.
Every hour the lady lost her clothes.
The original, and I'm just going to filter.
I've actually been wearing an analog watch for probably more than 30 years now.
Yeah, I had gone back to an analog watch till the cell phone was something that I started carrying with me. And that's like, why do I want two watches? So I got rid of the watch entirely until the Fitbit.
Well,
I probably gave up a watch about 25 years ago and never regretted it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of having that thing on my wrist, but at the same time,
But
now that
But
it's
now
back,
the new watches aren't for telling time anymore.
no. Well, I actually do use it for time more than I care to admit, especially during meetings. Which now that it's on Zoom, at least I don't have to like make it obvious. But yeah,
My watch
I'm
is for
constantly
older.
checking weather and whatnot.
Mine is for old people who are retired. It says Thursday.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's
see,
it.
I'm not allowed to
That's
carry
reminds me what
any
day.
electronics on me. So, I mean,
I need
the
that.
analog watch is what I get.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But haven't you watched any of the James Bond movie? They can do anything with an analog watch.
Well, he
I was
has.
actually watching Johnny English.
Oh, he can't do anything with his watch.
But in any case, Dune Buggy, yeah, it's Chris does that other show, the Caching in the Northwest, with a couple of other guys, so you
That
can
other
keep
show.
watching him. That other show,
That
the show that
other
we're not-
show.
yeah, that we're not allowed to mention. But the only thing that I'll be doing for the next, quite a while actually, is going to be the R&DW Adventures with my wife. That's our YouTube channel. It's not a geocaching channel, but we do geocaching on the channel. And On a Boat has been on that channel.
Yes, you can go to the restroom.
I need you to send me one of those tiny Hot Wheels cars. That was the coolest thing. The tiny Etch a Sketch was cool, but like those tiny Hot Wheels, like that was cool.
The worst part is the guys at work ate those up. They love them.
Yeah.
That and the Nerfoop. They're just
little,
all over it. Yes.
Those are fantastic. Some of those, you guys find the most random crap. I swear to God.
Yeah, well, it's amazing what you can find when you start looking for that stuff.
Yep.
And a lot of it is coming off of Amazon.
The world is a strange place.
As far as the funny foods, the best place to go is the Asian markets. They have some of the coolest stuff.
yeah. See, I miss those now that now that you're not doing Periscope, since that's no longer a thing. I keep forgetting to go check out the YouTube channel.
Yeah, and we're hoping, we're doing it for fun. It's not like we really care how many people are subscribing, but I would like to get to the 1,000 mark, because once we get to the 1,000 mark, we actually get to do the live streams again. Right now we can live stream, but we have to have all the extra hardware. We've got the gear downstairs, but it's not the kind of stuff that you can really do from the phone. And Gary wants me to put on the famous goggles. I have no idea what happened to those. Until just now, I totally forgot about them.
On a Boat, Shave Dewok says Cracker Barrel has the tiny Hot Wheels.
There we go. All right. I know where I'm going this weekend on my way to Livonia.
You're going to be in Livonia. You should hit Dearborn Music in Dearborn, of course, not too far from Henry Ford. They have a whole display of a bunch of the cooler, smallest toy stuff.
Okay.
So you can actually go and pick your Hot Wheels cars. You don't have to open a whole bunch of blind boxes and get those stupid Care Bears.
What's wrong with the Care Bear?
Do you have the whole collection yet of that set?
No.
Or no, you're still
but
missing stuff?
we're done with this one.
Okay.
There's other series that we're hoping will get some of those popping back up.
Okay. I'll keep paying attention. Hey,
Wet Coaster wants to know if they have batteries for him.
I just want to know. I just want to maybe place some bets here. Like how long do you think we're gonna have to wait until we have like a reunion show about batteries?
I can schedule that next month on Caching in the Northwest.
I'm fully expecting there to be like a Geo Gearheads reunion in like a year or two, and just be like a one-off pop-up episode about batteries.
So that means don't unsubscribe from the feed, because we may just come back for a single episode
About batteries. That's what I expect.
Oh, just batteries. Okay.
Just
Yeah.
batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, the podcast studio is going to be taken down and reconfigured into a YouTube studio. So all of the gear
right?
is gone. And that is part of it. Is this gear is really, really old. You know, the audio gear for the most part that I'm working on came from Cashomaniacs and Cacher of the Roundtable. This mixer was purchased to be able to do Cachers of the Roundtable. That ended, I want to say 14 or 15 years ago. So this is, old hardware for electronics.
It's like an antique.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but it's close.
Yeah, it is.
But you said your computer's like 11 years old.
Yeah, the computer that I'm working on is 11 years old. It wasn't purchased to do this. It was, an older computer that got passed down. It still works, but at this point, it can't take the current OS, which as an IT guy makes me very nervous because it's an unsupported OS that's vulnerable to, Facebook, for instance.
And it's probably really handles 4K video really well too.
It might actually melt down if I tried to feed it 4K.
Try it and video it as it does.
It's the last show. It's the last show anyway. Give it a whirl.
Wait till he posts the episode at least, okay?
Yeah,
But that and Libsyn, our podcast host, decided to do their upgrades and frustrated me because things broke and they wouldn't answer the tickets on it. Google is changing their policy for us grandfathered workspace users. So keeping everything as it is without going and spending a ton of time and cash would mean spending a couple $100 a month extra to keep all that stuff going.
Mm-hmm.
And this all on top of, I just really don't have the time I wanted to dedicate to the show with work and everything else that's going on. So for the last couple of years, we've really struggled with trying to keep the show going. So with all of these other things coming down the pipe, it's like, yeah, it's time to probably call it.
Well, for myself and a few other people, I really appreciate that you've kept it running, that you kept it going. And, we are definitely going to miss it and wish you the best luck.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
For a few people, the rest
Thank
of them
you.
are all happy to see us go, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peace out.
I don't know what
they
I'm
don't
going
want
to
to hear
do.
anything else about batteries. There's
It's
like 6 of you that want the battery talk, and that's it.
Yeah, it was actually, it was one of the most technical shows we had out there on geocaching, and it was something I really looked forward to every week when I first stumbled across it. And it was after I found the geocaching podcast that I even had found it. And that's back when you were a host on it, Darryl. Andy was the main host, but yeah, and
Andy,
this is
X-Punk X, or was that
no,
later
it was
on?
head hard hat.
I always loved that we went from Andy to Andy as the producer of the show. I love the continuity there. That was just awesome. So I don't know how Scott got it, but well, I do know how Scott got it. But
So do I, but
he was the last one standing, basically. But we did try to set out to make a show that was for the more seasoned geocacher stuff that was in a technical vein, because Chris and I are tech guys. So we felt that was the way we should go. At the time, we didn't want to limit it to just geocaching. We wanted to address things like Munzie came out during our show, and something that's interesting that we should talk about. Yeah, and what was it called? Zombies Run. Zombies Run. Yeah. So we had some of those kind of things that were just starting to come out, and we wanted to cover this new era in location gaming. In the end, we pretty much shut all that stuff out, and we're back to just geocaching.
No, but we went down a lot of different paths.
We did.
The geolocation games. I mean, I really enjoyed Zombies Run.
Yeah, and we did
the first couple of seasons of it. and then it kind of got off.
got
and
old,
it wasn't, yeah.
But yeah, we had a lot of these trends that were coming out that were not unrelated to geocaching, but it wasn't geocaching.
Mhm.
And we really wanted to take a look at it because we felt it was the future of location-based gaming. And I still think that there's a lot to it, but now it's not, new anymore. It's all about who's going to do what with the location-based stuff. It's no longer a, hey, here's this cool new technology.
Right.
So it's back to geocaching. And what is geocaching going to do with the new technology? And geocachers.
Yeah.
John Gardner wants to know
Oop,
what he's going to
sorry.
do for puns now.
Listen to the other show. at
You'll have to
9
come and
o'clock.
watch Caching in the Northwest.
There you go.
He's got like 4 plugs in now so far.
Oh, here. Is that
Oh,
better?
there you go. There you go.
Oh, man.
Oh, Darryl, is it
Now,
okay
you're
if I
making
plug
me-
the other show?
You're making me feel like I need to do the plug for R&DW Adventures, which I was not prepared to do.
Oh, do it. It's
I
your
have
show.
no idea
My
what I'm gonna
gosh.
do. Well, if I were planning on doing that, I would have brought up one of the cameras because we got I showed it on the show before. We got the QR codes on the camera for people to do the subscriptions right there. But I'm almost
Ooh.
afraid to have that on there now because everyone is so afraid of QR codes because of all the payment tax.
Mm.
I don't
Hey.
have a better solution for it though.
In the chat, we have Jeff Arbaugh, who is
I had it at the tip of my
Antaeus.
tongue. Thank you.
Antaeus. Sad to see you go. Merlin 1392 says thanks for all the shows and the memories. Brian Lang says gonna miss this podcast on my commute, my normal listening time. I still have a couple episodes in the hopper. Bob says enjoyed every show, guys. Thanks for keeping it going for so long. I'm gonna miss it.
Oh, so that's how we're going to do it. We're going to lie on the last show.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, Michelle says I have the battery shows saved offline. They help me sleep.
See, now that's being honest.
Yeah. Shave D-Walk says, I have nothing to rock out to Friday mornings at work now. John Gardner says, thanks for 10 years of the show. I'll miss it, especially the rabbit holes and the puns. I love how people leave us hanging.
And Shay Ewok says, well, even the score, plug the Ohio Geo Clash and the Midwest Geo Bash.
It's not in the show notes.
Darryl wasn't prepared.
We have what'd you say? You had 2 of the most like prepared guests, and then
Yes.
And then you got Darryl.
No, I was talking about me.
I was like, what am I, a guest on my own show?
Oh. Brian Lang says, so long and thanks for all the
I
fish.
got in trouble for that one.
Wet
Oh, my
Coaster
goodness.
says, I started listening in the beta days. Thanks for all the great shows and some of the other ones as well.
See, that's the right answer, right?
Not all the shows were great. Thanks for the way. What did I just hear? It was Mike Rowe talking about making a TV show, and he goes, "You can't hit a home run every time, right? If you do, it's exhausting. It's so emotional, right? If you hit that home run every time, people are drawn. Oh, you make a great series by hitting singles and doubles. You get around the bases, you score, but if you knock it out of the park every time, it's too emotionally draining."
Yeah, the thanks for all the fish. We had one of the folks in the InfoSec team that took off for a newer, better position. And I wished her farewell and thanks for all the fish. She won't talk to me anymore.
Houston, Texas Dave wants you to keep swinging, Darryl. The
Not
geocaching
initially.
ninja says this is the first show of yours that I'm listening to. It sounds like you guys had a great run. Yeah, great time to jump in. Now that you know how fun we are, go back and listen to the 10 years of shows.
Be sure to check out the Patreon page. Now's a great time to subscribe.
Yeah, great time.
On that note, though, thank you so much for all the patrons. You guys kept the show running for the last several years. If it weren't for all of your support, the show would have folded quite a while ago. Podcasting has become much more expensive while we were doing the show. And I encourage you to go check out some of the other podcasts and support them in any way that you can, financially, and even just being a viewer and listener of the show really, really helps. But it is getting quite exhausting. And one of the reasons why we don't see a lot of podcasts starting up now on the personal level is because the barrier has been raised, and it's a much more difficult endeavor these days than it was when we got started.
To put out a quality show. Anybody can get on their phone and record audio and put it out there. But if you want to put out a quality show, it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, and a lot of the free services are gone now. So it does take cash to make it happen. And this is one of the reasons why we see so much more happening on YouTube and TikTok, because you can just do it. You don't have to, plan it out and go through it all. So unfortunately, I think we are going to see fewer and fewer podcasts, as we start burning out some of the hosts that we have out there currently. We're not going to get new people replacing them like we used to. There was a time during this show when we would get a new podcast every few months. Most of them didn't last very long, but it was nice to see all that new blood in there.
Exactly. Genice says, thanks for the great shows. How do I know if I can charge my watch to 100% now? The geocaching vlogger says, I'm so impressed with the level of commitment of keeping the show going for so many years. Thank you. We'll miss the show.
Thank you for that. And now I'm in competition for geocaching vlogger, not.
Gary Slinkard says, Darryl W4 got the Geocache Talk Network going, and we're sad to see the show go, but understand fully. Your legacy of Geo Gearheads will live on.
Thank you very much.
I really think that a lot of people owe Darryl a lot.
I was just thinking that. Like I remember like having conversations with Scott Burks, and I like ask him something. He'd be like, "Dude, I don't know how to do any of that. Darryl taught me everything."
Well, we really did have a great community going for the podcast. Yeah, a lot of us still talk a little bit, but I've been so busy that I haven't even been able to pursue that.
Well, Darryl, you're trying to be humble. Most of the geocaching podcasts got their technical underpinning because of you. I can say I did. You can look at the people on this list, and they're like, okay, hey, I think I can do this. How do I get started on putting a podcast together? How do I make it work? What equipment should I use? Hey, I've got this hiss. How do I get rid of it? How do I make my sound better? The person you went to is Darryl W4. So Darryl, thank you. I think the entire community owes you a debt of gratitude.
Thank you. It was in a day when
most people don't
I had
know
more time.
Yeah.
And we really went to put a lot more into the community. We had a lot of it circled around the Cachers of the Roundtable, which is still available, but not for much longer because I'm going to have to pull down that page. But you can go find them on, what's it called? The Wayback Machine.
MySpace.
No. Wayback Machine.
Archive.org. Yeah, there you go. The internet. Just Google the internet Wayback
love
Machine.
Those. And unfortunately, one of the problems with that show is we actually lost one of the hosts that was on there regularly. And that kind of sobered up the community a little bit. Okay, I'm missing something when Shave Ewok is washing his hands on the
And
chat.
so is Wet Coaster. It's supposed to be a hand clap, but it looks like that, and it's
Oh, yes.
it's not coming through right.
Wash hand,
Gas
wash
station-
hand, wash hand.
Yeah, wash hand, wash hand, wash hand. Gas Station Tuna says, thanks for the shows, guys. I've loved them, and I'll be reaching back to the older ones. Best to you all.
I'm so confused by that username.
Gas Station Tuna,
Yeah, I'm so confused.
great cashier, terrible lunch. Is
I'm just
how I
so
describe
confused.
And that's related to his name. Yep.
it.
He's down in your area, isn't he, Scott?
He's a good friend of mine.
See, Michelle says, Darryl helped me with the Geocaching Down Under podcast, which apparently is now right side up.
No, I
don't
think he
know.
passed that one off to some of his friends, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to listen to that show, which is also part of how I lost track of a lot of the community. Is at this point, occasionally I get around to listening to Sunny and Sandy, but that's maybe once a month, and it's only because it's there at the top of the feed because it's
Right.
you know, it's there.
For me, I've fallen back on so many podcasts because I don't have the commute I used to have. Right, I'm working from home.
Well, I
and
used to work heads
walking from my
down.
bedroom to the office. I don't even get to get a whole podcast episode in.
Sure.
You know what? I just need a bigger house.
Well, and walk. I don't get the heads down time that I do or I used to do. Now at the bigger company and newer positions, it's meetings all the time. I can't listen to podcasts while I'm in a meeting.
Right.
I suppose you could, but
That's what your Apple Watch is for. You just pair your earbuds to it, and I'm sorry. No, I'm just checking the time. Next podcast, please. Siri, play the next podcast.
But we have
What? No,
seen-
I'm listening.
We have seen a huge shift in this show from the audio podcast feed to the YouTube feed. And I do want to clarify something, being pedantic, because a lot of people have been asking me this at work in the last few months. The podcast has to be audio delivered, or not audio, sorry, media delivered by an RSS feed. That is the definition of a podcast. So I don't consider our YouTube show the podcast. The podcast is the feed. That's why we don't call the show Geo Gearheads Podcast. It's the Geo Gearheads. So the podcast is our audio
Technically,
feed.
yes.
Yeah, but that's what we built it as originally. Is
Right.
The podcast is the audio feed, and the YouTube was going to be YouTube videos. So when I say podcast, it's referring to that audio delivery by RSS. That has dropped off dramatically, but the YouTube views have gone up significantly. So we are seeing the people moving from, especially during the pandemic, the feed, the audio only feed, to watching the videos. And we've had more than a few people who have said, hey, during the pandemic, I switched to the YouTube, and it's a totally different show. You guys are much funnier.
Well, we look funny.
Yeah, it's like, once they can see the faces. Well, and Chris, how many times have you been at a event, mega events especially, where you'll be talking to someone and then someone like does a double take and comes running over? I know you.
I know that voice.
Yes.
Wait.
It's all about the voice recognition because they don't know who we were.
I've had people come up to me going, wait, I know your voice. Where's it from? I said, I don't know. Is it in your ears?
And then they go, oh, now I know you.
Now I know who you are.
You're the
Yeah, you're
essay
that
on
annoying
past
guy.
It's from my mouth. You can't have it.
But at the same time, being on, okay, now you did an excellent job of technically describing a podcast. I don't think that's what the kids nowadays consider a podcast, right?
No, and that's a big thing. Is
we've done a series of shows.
Most people consider a podcast just an internet-based show.
Did you? Did you, Merlin? I did that to Chris and Cincy. I didn't remember that. I know people have.
Well, in Cincinnati,
What
I was
was I
with you
gonna
most
say?
of the time.
It was
I'm
important.
trying to remember too. Well, we were talking about the podcast, and what most people think of as a podcast, and we've gone on way longer than our usual 45 minutes.
Yes.
All right, and trivia time. Does anyone know why we target 45 minutes?
Oh, I know this one.
To leave room for the commercials, just like 1 hour television shows are 40.
Well, that would be 42 minutes. But
I'm guessing it's commute time. or
Darryl would
something.
know that. What was that again, Limax?
I was thinking it was commute time or something like that. I know that
Ding, ding,
the
ding.
length of one show is about my commute length, unless it was tonight trying to get home.
well, 45
You got in
minutes.
3 shows, right?
Yeah, 45 minutes was considered a good drive time show because people who had like the 25-minute commute could listen to it in 2 chunks and do it in one day. And what we found was the 20 or the 42 or 45 minute. Now I'm thinking the 42 shows were the ones that were most listened to. People seem to like that length. And once we actually started getting the data, you saw a fall off right about the 40-minute mark every time.
The Merlin thought it was the free Google Hangout time. I like Jeff. I really do. Jeff's a good man, and he brings up good things. It's because of Caching in the Northwest. We can't let this show go on too long because I've got to go jump into Caching in the Northwest.
It's for your dinner break.
Or it could be the limit of TikTok. I don't know what.
Oh, I thought he was telling me I need to jump on TikTok,
Oh, you could.
which I've been avoiding.
Well,
I
I
do
have
not want to
actually
install
quit
TikTok.
listening to a couple podcasts because they were getting up to an hour and a half to 2 hours easily. And
Well,
I mean-
that's a good part of it is who wants to listen to us talk about batteries for 45 minutes, let alone an hour?
Well, or we do 2 episodes on it.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to break it up.
part 1, part 2,
Right.
positive and negative.
You know, my whole Roman number quick working
Understanding.
out in my head, my ability to quickly read Roman numerals are going to fade off because I'm not going to use that muscle anymore.
No, well, we did that largely because, it's a geocaching thing. There were a ton of puzzles there. And if it weren't for Head Heart Hat, we probably would have given up on it. But remember, Head Heart Hat did a whole
I don't remember
5-minute shtick on one of his shows about getting rid of the Roman numerals. I can't read them. And so I
Nice.
told him after that we have to stick with Roman numerals, the show numbers. But iTunes doesn't like it.
What was the last randomized number?
Bigger than
Last
1.
It wasn't that long ago. I should be
It was
able
like
to find that.
112 or 113, something like that, I think.
CXVI. So
16?
116,
17.
17. You
117.
said, I said VI. I didn't hear the second I.
2
apologize.
eyes. 2 eyes.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, which was only a few weeks ago. It was 523. And of course, those are the ones we did the most of because, we like them.
And those are the shows we probably did the most work for.
Yeah. I feel like batteries only got up to what, 43, 44?
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
actually
We
more.
weren't even near the century mark.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we're known for our battery shows, but we really didn't do that many. I've got to look at it now because now I'm curious.
What should be like 4? What should be like 4 shows or something?
It is 4.
Okay.
306 batteries 4.
I know we did a lot of. I'm trying to think
man.
what shows we did the most of. I know we did a lot of 5s, right? So GPS versus smartphone 5, Adventure Lab 5, Trackables 5, Project GC,
We did 5
3D
on a lot of
printing,
the shows.
puzzles. So, did we get up to 10 on anything? No.
Yeah,
Trackables 10.
Yeah, Trackables we got up to
Puzzles?
10, but we got into the 20s on the road caching.
I was going to say
Road caching.
travel caching. Yeah.
Yeah. But we got to do another show on batteries because it's been like 6
Daryl.
years.
You haven't done a battery show in 6 years?
It's been 6 years.
I can't. That's that.
November 10th of 2017.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
So you guys are
Daryl?
going to have to continue on one more
5
week
years.
at least.
I'm telling you,
In
man, the
doing-
union show.
There you go.
Chris wants to say something. I don't know.
I'm
what.
trying to. I'm
Sorry.
looking because of the search we did. I just did. There's
Uh-huh.
one that popped up that just blares at me. GeoCredit.
Oh yes, yes.
Are those other like trackable things?
It was one of the alternative trackable services that worked across listing sites.
Yeah.
So they had, I believe it was a Firefox plugin that would allow you to pick up and drop the trackables. You generated your own trackable number and you had to do your own trackables from that. But it was pretty cool.
You know, I actually came across one of those in my basement when I was cleaning not too long ago, and I had to look at it for a minute and try to figure out
The
what the
GeoCredit.
heck. Yeah, I was like, what was this? And I was like, oh, it's that weird thing.
All right, so Aussie C. Michelle is asking, Aussie Geocacher is asking what made us end on 526 and not 550. Oh, and
Daryl?
there's another one too. Yes,
Oh, it was Daryl.
yes.
That's good. Well, I mean, 526 is the product of two primes. You can count to 526 in about 4 minutes. It's good. It's just, it's just a nice number.
I was just going to
right off
say
the top
life.
of his head.
Some of its prime factors is 265, which is very interesting. The 526, some of its prime factors 265. So that's a very interesting thing.
No, I'm going to say the answer is simply it's life. We're wrapping up at the end of February, which just made it easy. Next week I've got to travel for work yet again and won't have time to do much. And the doing the show on the road just does not work very well.
No.
And if I go into April, I have to start paying those Google fees.
There you
And
go.
those can be upwards of what? It
It was
depends on
like-
how many. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
looking for myself. Looking at 250 or more a year if I want to continue
Oh,
with
that's
the
not bad.
vanity names.
With all of the different services, it's not just the
Mhm.
podcast related ones. We do have the two podcast related ones, which somehow have like 7 users on it. So I got to figure out what happened there. But yeah, it's with all of them. It came out to like $200 and something a month, which I just can't afford. Sorry to say. Even with the promotion at work, it's a shoot load of money to be thrown out there.
But
for something.
Daryl, you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it for the love of geocaching.
No, but
No, he
like,
says.
yeah, like we said before, there is a point where you can't just keep throwing money at it. And if it weren't for the patrons, we wouldn't have been able to keep this going that long. And Houston, Texas, Dave says the answer is that the battery ran out at 526.
I love how that turned into a thing tonight. That
With
was
only
so
4 shows.
unintentional. Like I don't even know how we got on that. Like I think we mentioned it like at the very beginning, it just spiraled the whole night.
Oh, it was you that
Should we
mentioned
blame?
it.
Should we blame Shaved Ewok?
Oh, yeah, we
Because
could
it
blame
was his
Chief
comment
Ewok.
to you that started that in
Yeah.
the pre-show.
Thanks,
But
buddy.
it's not
Good job,
just,
buddy.
yeah, it's not just Shaved Ewok, because well, we have a lot more comments about that since that's where
Yeah.
we started.
Hey, I before we head out, I just wanted to ask, is this stuff going to be available in the archives of the internet for a while?
It's
What's your
going
plan?
to stay on YouTube as long as YouTube keeps it alive. The Cachemaniacs podcasts, including this, are going to stay active for a while. I'm going to drop the plan back, but I wouldn't say they're going to survive for more than about a year. We'll
And-
see if something happens, but
if you want to, I can send you years of DVD backups.
Yes, but that's only
Of the show.
like half of the show.
Right.
But yeah, we started doing the backups on DVDs. So we had our production files and the finished ones if we ever had to go back to them.
I'm waiting to be up one night watching TV late at night, and an infomercial will come on TV selling the complete collection
Of the
All-
Gearheads.
Yeah.
I have a question about that,
five-
please.
All 526 episodes
There's
available
more than
for the first
526
time.
episodes.
Available for the first time.
Because remember, we had the off shows where
All the shows were awful.
we had the dots until
Mhm.
Apple said no more dots,
Mhm.
but we had the point ones, the point fours that were the midweek shows that we did with special things. So with those, I want to say we're probably up around 1,000.
Yep. Never before seen footage available for the first time.
That's all of the stuff that we did with the patrons.
Oh, wait,
It's
how much would you pay?
special shows?
It's the low price of 10
That-
payments of
That
$109.99.
Wallaby show was one of those special shows. It doesn't count in the numbering system because we didn't want to throw off the numbering. We wanted to keep it, this is the main show every week. Anything else is bonus. So there you go. There's like
Bonus,
1,000 of them,
dudes.
but you could only get it. You could only get all of them if you were a patron.
You can only get
So
all
act
of them
now.
in the complete set. Act now.
So what I'm hearing is we have to create a new patron feed that has all of the episodes in it and charge $19.95.
Act now and get this neon trucker hat and t-shirt. Comes with a full set of AAA batteries. Now how much would you pay?
Oh, what
Use
was
the
that
discount
called?
code at the bottom of your screen.
What was that called? The Minty charge?
Yes, the Minty charge.
Yes. So that's what we need to do. We
There you
need to
go.
do the special patron level that includes the Minty charge kit.
I built one of those. It actually worked really well.
Yeah, they had some issues with using the rechargeable batteries,
Mhm.
but for those early days, they were great.
They can't handle the juice now of what
Yeah.
the devices need, but
No, well, come on, a couple of AA batteries doesn't even charge a phone halfway.
mm-mm. I took apart an old laptop. It was failing and pulled the hard drive out of it. And it was a Dell, 15-inch laptop. And it had this skinny battery on the back. And I looked at it and I go, son, come over here. Look, this battery is smaller than the one you have in your iPhone. And it ran a laptop.
Yeah.
It had less amp hours. Oh, there we are, back on batteries.
We're back on batteries. It is all about the batteries. Oh, I think we better wrap this up to save everyone's sanity, especially because we're at that hour and a half mark.
Well, at least we haven't had any assault, just batteries.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. Limax, you're pretty salty.
Oh. Chris, you've got a lot of people who are bucking for your job. All right, thank you, gentlemen,
Are
for
they, though?
joining us. It's been great having you on for the last show. Definitely a walk down memory lane and some other things.
Hey, thank you guys for having us, and thank you guys for doing this for forever. So enjoy retirement.
10 years is
thanks so much.
forever. Wow, now we really feel old. All right. Thank you again, everyone. And check the Cashomaniacs website at cashomaniacs.com for more on the Geo Gearheads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. Geo Gearheads is produced by Chris Stoffenauer and Darryl Wanberg. This show is copyright 2022 by Darryl Wanberg. All rights reserved.